Hey guys, this is David Wonderlink, and I'm going to break down why Florida's run game was not all that impressive at the start of its game against Charleston Southern. This is Jordan Scarlett's first run of the game, and on this run, there are going to be two combo blocks in the middle. What a combo block means in this case is that two linemen will double team an interior lineman on the defensive side, and then one of the offensive linemen is supposed to release to get to the second level. So the first combo block is going to be center Nick Buchanan, right guard Fred Johnson taking on this guy, and then Fred Johnson will continue to the second level to get after that linebacker. The other combo block is left guard Tyler Jordan and left tackle Martez Ivy. They're going to double team this guy right here, and then Ivy will need to go on to the second level to block this linebacker. Other bit of business here, this defensive end is going to be unblocked entirely, and that is who Franks is going to read, and based on what he does, is going to decide whether he keeps it or gives it to Scarlett. And let's just look at that unblocked guy for now. You can see he's hanging back. Here's the point at which Franks needs to make a decision, and this guy, he's hanging back. He has not crashed down, right? He hasn't done that. He's hanging back, and so the correct play for Franks to do is to give it to Scarlett and have him go this way. Now let's look at the linemen. We've got the first combo block that I mentioned is right here. Fred Johnson and Buchanan have stuffed their guy pretty good, and now Johnson is going to be able to release and get a good block on this linebacker. Look at that. Right there, you've got Buchanan with him facing this way, Johnson facing this way, and with space in the middle. Good hole for Scarlett to run through. So that is something those guys did pretty well. Now let's look at the other combo block. They did their job to initially stuff this guy, but as you can see, Ivy is kind of caught up in traffic here, and he has not gotten a block on the linebacker. And so if we roll this forward, the linebacker is free to come and get Scarlett. Now, Scarlett sees the linebacker coming, and he's able to stop and avoid that first tackle. But the unblocked end comes up from one side, a safety comes from way out of the frame the other way, and the two of them are the ones who actually put Scarlett on the ground, right there at defensive end and the safety. And so because Ivy was not able to get off of his block and get to the second level guy, Scarlett was slowed up, and that allowed two other guys to come in and make the stop. And so now we've got Jordan Scarlett's second run. Scarlett only needs 1 yard. This is 4th and 1, and he ends up getting 2, so it is a success of a play, but the blocking on this wasn't ideal. There's going to be a combo block again from Buchanan and Johnson, but let's see how that works. You see that Johnson is late getting off of his combo. Right here, he's still pushing on the defensive tackle, but this linebacker is coming in, and Johnson is going to be late getting to him. He's not going to get to this block, and that's going to put a linebacker right in the way of where Scarlett needs to go. There's another guy, this defensive tackle. He's only single blocked this time by Jordan. There's no combo block. And if we run it forward, you can see he crashes that gap between Buchanan and Jordan can't really get a good block on him. And he squirts through, and the two of them end up interfering with Scarlett's legs, and he goes down. But fortunately for the Gators, he still got the 2 yards he needed. It's a first down. That's what you want to see, but it could have been more with a little better blocking if Johnson wasn't late and had Jordan gotten a really good block there at first. Now we're going to skip ahead a drive. You can see the Gators are up 7-0 at this point. On this carry, it's a counter. So you can see at first of the play, Scarlett will take a step this way. Franks is going to come back and very dramatically offer the ball to his right. They are doing this on purpose because this is actually counter. They're trying to get the defense to go to the right because Scarlett is going to end up going to the left. Yeah, you can see offering the ball to the right, and then Scarlett goes to his left. Now, the big problem with this, unfortunately I feel like I'm picking on Fred Johnson, but it's him again. He is lined up on this defensive tackle, and the defensive tackle is going to get really good leverage up into Fred Johnson, and he's going to stand him up. And so here's what that looks like. You can see right there, This is not what you want to see from an offensive lineman. He is kind of up here at this angle. His feet are not under him, which means he doesn't have a stable base. You can see that because Johnson is off balance, the defensive tackle can just kind of throw him to the side. And this is not a size issue because Johnson is listed at 330 and that defensive tackle is listed at 260 pounds. Johnson's got the size advantage, but if that size doesn't have a stable base, it's not going to work so well. And so he throws him off to the side, and now Scarlett, who's trying to go to the left, well, he's got this guy in the way. And so instead of going to the left, he's going to have to cut back and go to the right. And that's exactly what he does. See there? But the defensive tackle kind of gets a hand on his foot. And now we come to the other issue here, which is got a redshirt freshman in his first game, Kamore Gamble, at tight end. He's blocking this guy, number 34, who's a defensive end. And as we go forward, he does a good job initially, viewing from the front sideline, and we can see his numbers very clearly, which means Gamble is pushing this way, which is exactly what you want to see on a run that goes to the left, right? This guy is entirely out of the play. However, Scarlett had to cut it back to the right, and Gamble is not able to continue his block. You can see 34 pushes off on him. Gamble seems to maybe have let up a little bit because he thinks the run is going to the left, and 34 cleans up the play. All right, so you got the defensive tackle who beat Johnson here, getting a hand on his foot, and then the guy that Gamble didn't clean up entirely is coming in here and laying the primary hit on Scarlett to make this a short gain. I think this is something that they're going to talk to Gamble about, potentially, hey, young fella, good job at first, but you can't let up at all because you don't know where things are going to go. You don't know if the running back's going to cut back on your side. So here we've got the final carry I'm going to highlight. We are in the red zone later on the same drive. The problem on this one is going to be Martez Ivy. So if we run this forward a little bit, at first it looks all right because this is where Scarlett wants to go. Tyler Jordan and Nick Buchanan, all these guys on this side, they've got this walled off very well. And so it looks like there's this big lane for Scarlett to run through. Unfortunately, Ivy doesn't really take a good angle here. He just kind of goes a little far to the outside, like he's trying a little too hard to open up that side of the hole. This defensive lineman here, he is kind of lined up over this gap between Jordan and Ivy. And so what Ivy needed to do is come up and then push over. But instead, what Ivy tries to do is just push him over immediately. And this defensive end stays more towards that gap. Ivy gets off balance, just like we saw with Fred Johnson. And again, this defensive end is giving up 70 pounds to Martez Ivy. So this is not a matter of size. This is a matter of force and angles. And so even though these guys on the other side do a really good job, and you can see Jordan has released to the second level. He's going to get a good block on this linebacker. The defensive end has a free shot on Scarlett, and that is why this play doesn't go very far, because it's pretty much just that guy tackling Scarlett. So I don't know exactly how to explain all of this other than to note that things did get better later on in the game. Some of this could have been first game jitters in the new scheme, and more practice can improve these kinds of things. But what I can say is the muted early reviews for Scarlett's return from suspension are more about the line than him. He didn't have much to work with here, with a noticeable line failure on each of these carries. He did the best he could by either being patient or cutting up field as the situation called for it, but don't be down on him based on this first game. Those runs would have gone for even less if not for Scarlett's good vision and good motion. So that's all for now. I hope this helps you see what was happening with the underwhelming run game early, and hopefully we'll get to see this stuff get better later on in the season.